getting started a little later than I wanted to. It's 10 o'clock. 1,938 hours on the motor exactly. Turning over. I am heading out of Little Neck Bay. I pulled anchor, and I'm going to be running tailgate in just a little bit. It should be fine as far as the tides, as far as the tide goes. We'll see. Like I said, I'm about a half hour later than I wanted to be for an hour and a half past high tide at the battery. High tide at the battery this morning was 7:34. So technically the right time to leave for the safest passage is right at an hour and a half after that. So I'm a little bit beyond that. Almost an hour beyond that. So it should give me a little faster passage actually. So that's what I'm hoping to see. Not that I want it to be any later. I did some chores that I needed to get done. I got the solar panel hooked up, or at least connected to the controller. Yeah, so I am leaving Little Neck Harbor, Bayside Marina. There's some sort of thing happening over there. Passing this mooring field. And then I'm heading out.
So I suppose I should point out the bridge names. This is the Throg's Neck Bridge that I'm approaching here, having come out of Little Neck Harbor. So here we are passing underneath the Throg's Neck Bridge. The Maritime Academy is right behind there. Actually, it's on both sides. That's one of their ships. You can see right alongside the bridge. This is the Navionics chart showing that I've passed underneath the Throg's Neck Bridge. The next bridge is the Whitestone Bridge, and that's what this is. And they're pretty close to each other. So you cross under the Throg's Neck, then you cross under the Whitestone, and that puts you over in Flushing Bay. Looking at the other side of the Whitestone Bridge after I've passed under it. Throg's Neck is in the distance there, you can see it. My solar panels.
sailing through New York Harbor is always a challenge. So far, it's been so good. Now just crossed Flushing Bay, LaGuardia Airport behind. Going to come up on the prison barges here in Riker's Island, and then shortly after that is Hellgate. Hellgate is, I should be going pretty. Right now we're traveling at 7.3 knots, so I'm definitely getting some current advantage. It's a overcast day, so that's not making it the best in photography, but it is easy on the eyes. This is buoy 96, and that's the prison barge behind it. Let's see if we can get Ghost to take over a little bit here. Going straight at least. Yeah, so this is where it gets interesting. We're starting to approach Hellgate, and wouldn't you know, that's when my RPMs start dying. Just had a little bit of wake and shook up the boat a bit, and that seems to be when I start to have problems with this fuel tank. It mixes the fuel. We were running real smooth on smooth water for quite a while, and I haven't had a problem. Right now, I started getting a drop in my RPMs right as we're approaching Hellgate. It's interesting. Currently, my speed over ground is 7.9 knots, which means I've got current working for me. I've got another boat entering into this narrow channel here. The name of the islands. I heard that the New York City's going to turn it into a park at some point. But I can see that the water's definitely moving here. The depth is no problem, 74 feet, 75 feet. But our islands, they can be hit. So I need to come along this way, and this gets a little red right returning, so I'm returning. So I need to keep red on my right, green on my left. Looks like I got a boat fishing here off the channel, so I don't need to be worried about that at all. Channel's narrow through here. The actual buoy points, I don't know, fairly big enough for two large boats to go through, if there is. So keeping an eye out, make sure there's nobody coming. I don't see anything. Again, the RPMs just dropped. So did our speed. I can anchor underneath the Statue of Liberty if I need to do something. Get myself sorted or anything along those lines. That's Riker's Island behind me. It's a prison. And you don't want to end up there from what I hear. Which I've never been to Riker. been to the city jail more than once. I've never made it out all the way out to Riker, so I was bonded out on my own recognizance. Marijuana. Moonshine is the name of the boat that's fishing behind the island here.
So the railroad bridge is your first indicator that you're coming up to Hellgate. There's a upper Manhattan. As I came through Hellgate, I saw this ferry crossing from Queens into Manhattan, and that just threw up a little bit more wake. You can sort of see that it's pretty rough around here. We're bumping up and down, and it actually got really, really rough. Water came up over the bow a couple of times. And what really made it interesting was, and you might hear me say, oh no, there's somewhere, the engine stopped. That RPMs dropped after I got bounced up and down. You can see I'm bouncing up and down here. It stopped the engine, and I fortunately restarted right away. It actually stopped twice. So I lost a little bit of forward momentum and started to drift sideways to the current a little bit. So that was a little exciting. But I was going through here at over 10 knots. So the water was whipping. And I knew it was going to be fast by the time I left, but I wasn't quite. I was nicely surprised in how fast I got through here, actually.
Came through Hellgate, and it was pretty rough, I have to say. There were actually breakers as I was coming through. And then at the same time, the ferry came across from Queens over. And so that added more mix to it. And I was bouncing up and down really hard. And then I got that same problem that I've been getting when I get bounced up and down really hard, is the fuel seems to get mixed up. And then I start losing RPMs. So I have to, I'm running with both fuel filters. I've got a set of 2 fuel filters. So I'm running with both fuel filters on and open. Which really isn't good because I totally clogged up. Anyway, so I'm trying to get to someplace that isn't hold up at this RPM, at least as I get through the East River. I get underneath the Statue of Liberty, I can anchor there, and then I'll change these fuel filters. And before I go any further, and maybe switch the tanking. I gotta get through this fuel, so that's what I'm gonna do. I have biocide in it on. I am now moving at 11 knots, at 10.8 knots. 10.8 knots down East River. It's flying, and that's part of the risk that you take. That white water there was tough, I have to say that, but it's pushing me down the river at 10.8 knots. And now at this point, as long as I don't have to deal with too much ferry traffic, too much cross traffic, it should be a pretty smooth ride. I have to pay attention, of course. We're moving really fast, and it's solid concrete on the sides.
So this part of the video I've sped up, speed ramped it about 4 times. Got to recognize that even though I'm going 10 knots, it takes a while, and I didn't think you'd want to sit through the hour or so that it takes to pass through the East River. But for somebody that hasn't ever seen it, this is the skyline, all the buildings of Manhattan, at least on the east side of Manhattan. That's the FDR Drive. You can see all the cars right on the highway, right alongside the river there. So this would be considered the Upper East Side. This bridge is the 59th Street Bridge. It comes from the east side over to Roosevelt Island. We're coming up on the UN complex. That big black obelisk building that was in the view just a short while ago is the Dag Hammarskjöld building. And that was actually the first advertising agency. That's where the first advertising agency I worked for was housed, Amirati Puris Lintis. I actually got to be on the 50th floor of that building more than once. This is the UN. One of the challenges of sailing the East River definitely are all the tugs, commercial traffic. You can see a ferry. There are ferries crisscrossing the river all the time. And then you have the large power boats and pleasure boats that come cruising by as well. So here we are looking back at the 59th Street Bridge and the Dag Hammarskjöld building. So this is the first of the 3 downtown bridges. This is the Williamsburg Bridge. And you can see the massive construction project that they're building on the Lower East Side that a lot of people are very upset about. They tore out a whole bunch of trees. The goal, of course, is to raise the barrier on that Lower East Side so that the next time we have a flood or a significant storm, we won't lose all the subways and everything. But in order to raise the ground, they had to eliminate everything that was already there. And that disturbed a lot of people because a lot of nice trees, and there used to be a beautiful park, and now you can see there's no trees at all there. They will plant more, but for now it's just a massive construction zone. This bridge coming up is the Manhattan Bridge, and if you look beyond it, you can see the Freedom Tower, World Trade Center. The replacement of the World Trade Center that were destroyed. That's a Circle Line. And here's the trawler going by. I think I'll get a couple more that are going to come by here. So underneath the Manhattan Bridge. And this is from the other side looking towards Queens. So we've been under it. Of course, after the Manhattan Bridge, you've got the iconic Brooklyn Bridge. And this is the Brooklyn Bridge stone turrets. Beyond the Brooklyn Bridge, of course, is downtown Manhattan. Wall Street and such. There's the World Trade Tower again. course, the biggest berries that you have to watch out for are the Staten Island berries. They're pretty easy to see. They're big orange ships, and this is the ferry terminal on the right there. Again, another view of downtown Manhattan, looking back a little bit. And there's the Brooklyn Bridge. Of course, no trip through New York Harbor would be complete without passing the Statue of Liberty. And there's a little shot of it. Said it was an overcast day. There's looking at the Battery, downtown Manhattan. That's heading south out of New York Harbor. Next video we'll have going underneath the Verrazano and to where I have engine failure out by Atlantic City.